The Muppets.
Oh, the Muppets. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they tried to make it like the Office style, and that got canceled. So now they're coming back, and they're going like they're
all right,
doubling down with subversive
We're
comedy.
just going straight up
okay.
R-rated.
How about raunchy?
Dude, R-rated Muppets. I mean, who has not wanted that?
Brian Henson is going for it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited about it. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly podcast here at Digital Trends, where we talk about movies and entertainment. And we, in addition to being a podcast, we are live also right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope. And we have so many fun things to discuss today.
Yeah, this is a fun day.
It is a fun day. It is a fun week of topics. Thanks for joining us. We're at our new time of noon o'clock Pacific time.
Hitting you at the lunch hour.
Hitting the lunch hour. And for those of you on the East Coast, of course, it's in the mid-afternoon. But we are here, and we are excited to have you all joining us. So we've got a question to start off the show that we're going to bring up. We do have, just so you know, we're going to be talking about the newest from Jordan Peele. We've got lots of Star Wars stuff to talk about, which we will be discussing here. We've got a Deadpool spoiler-free review from Ryan. Can you do it spoiler-free?
I can always do it spoiler-free. That sounded dirty. I don't know
really weird
why that
the way
was dirty.
you said that.
Okay.
Nonetheless, we're talking about Bohemian Rhapsody and the latest R-rated Muppets movie, which we will be discussing. But first off, I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And our question that we wanted to start the show off with today has to do with obviously we know Solo is coming out next week, but there is a lot of hype already just about Donald Glover. And, I mean, Donald Glover alone is
he's really blowing up right now.
He really is.
Glover-assance.
The Glover-assance is upon us. And one of the things that we wanted to ask is, with Lando possibly getting his own movie, there's a lot of speculation that he's going to get his own spin-off movie, and there's some even execs from Star Wars, from Disney, from Lucasfilm.
It almost seems like she spilled the beans and then pulled it back. I don't know.
Kathleen Kennedy, who's the Lucasfilm president, said that we think that the next spin-off will be dedicated to Lando Calrissian.
So they said it was mistranslated and that it's something they would like to do in the future.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, hard to say.
Right.
But it makes sense. I think people have been clamoring for this. I want to also shout out to our Digital Trends team, specifically Keith Nelson Jr., who said he wanted this to be the next movie. And I think we predicted pretty well what are going to be the next few movies, because the other one that they're talking about right now is the next movie is Obi-Wan. Kind of an obvious choice, but that's the one that I called out that I wanted to see next. So.
Well, and we've got some more details on that, too. So let's get into talking about that. But that was our question is, do you want to see Lando, do you want to see Obi-Wan, or do you want to see somebody else? And taking a look here at some of the comments as they're coming in on Facebook right now, we've got... let's see. Well, Chris says, kind of done with the side stories, just isn't all that exciting anymore. And... I can see some of that, although, to be fair, we've only had one.
And wait till Solo.
We've only had Rogue One out, and I haven't seen Solo yet. So I do kind of want to see obviously it's getting a lot of good reviews. It comes out next week.
Yeah, it's not quite as high as the others, I think, but I think the expectations were lower, so people are really excited about that.
Courtney is saying Boba Fett. That's another person that's been rumored to have one. Maz, which Maz is kind of a newer character, obviously. Yeah. The older in the story, as we found out afterward. Let's see, Obi-Wan between 3 and 4, and that's actually...
Right. That's the one that we were pulling for. The one that I described I'd like to see is him on the desert island. On the desert planet. He's watching over Luke. He's depressed about what he's done with Vader. It's sort of a darker take on it, and he has to somehow defend the young Skywalker, who he thinks could be his own, as well as the galaxy's redemption. And that's almost exactly what they laid out.
Right. There's
the rumors,
a couple of different reports coming out. So according to a report by TMZ, Oscar-nominated director Stephen Daldry, and this is for the Obi-Wan movie, is rumored to already be working on the project.
Yeah.
Again, rumors.
I mean, it makes sense because Ewan McGregor is that age, so it kind of just seemed like a natural evolution. He's there. He's a good actor.
Well, and also, according to this report, it'll focus on Kenobi's time as a hermit on Tatooine, watching over a young Luke Skywalker. A war breaks out between the desert planet's moisture farmers and the vicious Tusken Raider tribes, which forces Obi-Wan to come out of hiding and intervene. And then Luke's parents would also be in it, probably like a baby Luke or something like that.
Yeah, or Luke's guardians. Yeah.
Right, but he thinks
his sort of parents.
He thinks they're his parents.
Well, I think Vader was his father, so
Right, but okay.
joking.
His adopted
I'm just quoting the
parents.
movie. I'm just being
my
a
God,
smartass.
we got one of these on the show today.
Actually-
Anyway, excuse me. It's not his parents, as was noted. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
That's what the rumor is for the Obi-Wan movie. Taking a look here at a couple more. I'm just going to ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Lando Solo movie?
I think it could be sweet. I think the problem is, first of all, Lando Solo movie sounds like we're talking about Solo, which Lando is in, and that's very confusing.
Okay.
But that's just something
standalone
I've
movie?
been reading about this. and
Lando
it's like, every time I
standalone
see,
movie.
and I even wrote that down. It's like you see Solo and you think of that movie. It's like a play on words. I think that Lando is going to be really fun to see in
Yeah.
the Solo movie. I just wonder if he couldn't be. I just wonder if he can't be next, right? Because we've already checked out this place with him in it, and then we're just going to do another movie with him in it. I mean, I guess it depends on how much he's featured in the first one. Maybe they're saving a lot of Lando.
Yeah.
But it seems like they would do Obi-Wan next and then Lando.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, but Donald Glover's, he is.
Right.
he
Maybe
is
they
king of
want to
everything
capitalize
right now.
on his hotness.
Donald Glover is having a year.
But
and
remember,
deservedly
also,
so.
it's going to be a year and a half if the movie isn't already in production before it comes out.
That's
So
true.
It's hard to say.
Well, see, Vicky is saying
But I would like
Leia,
to see it.
Princess Leia as a
Yes,
side movie.
I would like to see that too. And we've already picked out Millie Bobby Brown as the
Millie Bobby Brown would be perfect for
yeah.
young Leia. If you've seen the pictures side by side, and I didn't grab that picture to show you right now if you're watching live, but look up Millie Bobby Brown and Carrie Fisher.
She's already been cast. We've cast her.
She would be perfect for a young Leia. Although you got to get on that pretty quick because
Well,
she's going to be
depends
about
on
the
how
same age as
young
Leia.
Yeah, that's true.
What was Carrie Fisher? 19 in the first
She
one.
was young, yeah, but
You only got like three more years.
3 or
here.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta get this one knocked out pretty quick.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
We'll see. So that's part of the rumors on that. And again, I want to continue to hear what you think would be a great next movie for Star Wars because there's so many different characters that you could go. Still, nobody has said Jar Jar Binks, but I'm sure that's coming up at some point.
I
Somebody
do
will make
not
that
know
joke.
if that's coming back.
Somebody's gonna make that one. However, we do have Yoda. Jesse James is saying Yoda.
I think that would be
Another
hard to
one that would
do.
be
I
really-
mean, I think he would be a puppet if they were going to do it. And it could be interesting, but I think it'd be hard to do one
A
around
whole
Yoda.
planet of Yodas.
Ooh, that could be cool.
Oh, all of them talking like this.
I don't know if they all have to talk.
No, they all have to talk like that. Yeah. Okay.
It turns out just Yoda has a throat thing, and everyone else talks normal on the planet.
Yeah. They all make fun of him.
They're like,
for
"What is your problem, Yoda?
problem I have? It's
Why are
do
you
I
talking that way?"
put together a straight sentence? God damn it, Yoda. Yeah.
Speech impediment and a throat issue.
That would be awesome. All the other Yodas isolate him. That's why he turns to the Jedi stuff.
Yeah, he had to really.
He's one
dig
of those
down.
kids?
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
would hang out with him.
Yeah. So he's like, well, fine. I'm going to learn Jedi. Jedi, I will learn. Shut up, Yoda. Okay, anyway, we could do that forever. Something we are going to get, though, and we found out more about this. We obviously know with Disney's standalone service, Star Wars is going to get a live-action television series,
Yeah.
probably multiple. And Jon Favreau is the one who's in charge of this first one, and we now know when it's taking place and where it's taking place. So he has revealed it takes place 7 years after the Battle of Endor, which is Return of the Jedi. And I believe it takes place probably on, it's kind of, you would think on Endor is what I'm going to guess. If
Could
it's
be,
talking
yeah.
about Battle of Endor.
Or it could move around. I mean,
Could
it depends
move
on how
around.
much money they throw at it, for one thing.
He said they will feature new characters via sort of cutting-edge CGI and motion capture technology used in the Jungle Book.
And he's written half of the season
Half
already.
the season's already written. What this sounds like to me is we're getting Ewoks.
And that's why you got
Ewoks are
Favreau in
coming
there.
back.
Because Favreau knows how to make CG animals. Obviously he had a great effects team, but he stewarded one of the most impressive CG animals picture
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so it's that's I'm gonna guess
Maybe it's Ewoks.
I'm gonna guess there's some Ewoks involved.
Yeah.
And especially if it's going to be something that they're going to launch for the television service, they're going to want kids involved.
That's true.
We're going to get some Ewoks.
I don't know if that would get as good a response as
It won't for the hardcore fans.
yeah.
Because there are people that hate the Ewoks.
And remember, there's a lot of story to be told in canon books and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and Battlefront 2 tells a story after Revenge of the
Right.
Jedi as well. So
Yeah.
or Return of the Jedi. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look here in the live chat as far as Facebook, and we're going to bounce off from Star Wars here in a second and talk about Deadpool and a few other things. But I want to circle back around to this through the show.
Yeah.
So Brian said Darth Vader, also Wicket.
I would love
a
to see
Wicket
Vader.
standalone movie.
Oh, what?
Brian, Wicket.
I don't know what
You
that
know,
means.
you know who Wicket is?
I don't think I
Wicket
do.
is the Ewok that helps.
Oh, okay.
Eats shoves little food in his mouth.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Anyway,
He's got the
Keelan
crackers.
says, God damn it, I hate Ewoks. I hate Ewoks as much as the rest of you hate Jar Jar Binks. And then Brian, though, says Ewoks are the best. So clearly it's a battle that we're going to have between Brian and Keith.
Wow. That's a lot of passion.
Ewoks really bring out some
Passion
very
of the Star Wars.
passionate feelings on both sides
That's right.
for that. So where do you stand on the great Ewok debate?
That's true.
All right, so that's what we know about
We need
Star
to know.
Wars for the live series that's going to be coming to the Disney standalone live streaming or streaming station that they're going to have.
Yep.
All right. Streaming service.
Streaming station. I like
know,
streaming
I know. I
station.
kind of like that too. I said it. I was
That
gonna
could be a
correct
cool
myself.
band name.
Streaming station.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'd want to go to their concerts.
They stream.
Sounds way too pretentious.
Yeah, you're right.
We're streaming station.
This is all prog rock, so just sit back and relax.
That's how everybody else feels about Ewoks. That's how I feel about that. All
Prog
right.
rock? All right.
Well, not necessarily. All right. Deadpool.
Deadpool 2. Yes.
Before we go on to some more things, we're going to be talking, like I said, the new Muppet movie that is not the Muppet movie that you think.
Yeah.
And we've got stuff to talk about with as far as Bohemian Rhapsody and lots of other stuff coming out, and Jordan Peele, some exciting Jordan Peele stuff. But Ryan is going to give us a spoiler-free
Yeah.
Deadpool 2 review. So you went and saw it last night.
Yeah, so we were talking about this. It almost seemed like, just to start it off, like as far as tone, it seemed like Deadpool set the mold. Thor Ragnarok was like, oh, you can do comedy,
Yeah.
and Taika Waititi is a comedy master, and he made an amazing movie. I think they leaned into that, and then Deadpool 2, it almost seems like, maybe they were already in production, I didn't check, but
Yeah.
it almost seems like they were like, oh, they're going to do that. So they went, one step
We're gonna
even
go
further
further.
as far as comedy. To me, the whole thing feels like a raunchy comedy with a lot of gravy action on the side. Like, the action is the gravy, and the comedy is really
And the comedy's like the base
It's
of
the
this
base of the
show.
film. Like, I mean, the plot didn't mean a lot in the first one, but as we were saying, because it was origin, the plot meant a little bit more.
Yeah.
This is really, to me, Ryan Reynolds just at his best, and a lot of surprises and twists happening around him. But I have not laughed that much in a theater for, I just can't remember, to be honest. And
That's saying a lot.
Let's
I mean,
also say that the action is great, and
Yeah.
and there's some interesting things. I don't think the film is quite as strong as the original, but
Okay.
I think it's hard to match the origin.
Okay.
I've also seen the original a lot. I've used it for testing of TVs and stuff and audio stuff a lot. So I've just watched it a lot. It's really rewatchable. But this one, I was howling, and everyone next to me was as well. It's super fun.
I mean, it looks amazing to me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously. I have a couple questions for
Yeah.
you too. So with Ryan Reynolds, I mean, this is clearly the role he was born to play. Is Deadpool.
This
his
is
entire
he
life.
will
is
never
lined up.
have anything better than this, and
No.
we will
And he
never
knows
have a
it, too.
Deadpool as good as this. It's
No one else will ever be able to.
it's
play
Hugh
Deadpool.
Jackman had Logan, and Ryan Reynolds had Deadpool.
Yeah, it is him. He is Deadpool.
Absolutely.
And taking a look here in the chat, just a couple of things.
And he
I have
makes
some
fun
questions.
of Hugh Jackman, as you might imagine.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he
In the
does.
new movie.
Well, I've been seeing all the pictures that they post with
Yeah.
each other too. Keelan says I saw someone complaining that Deadpool is low-hanging fruit humor, and the person also complained that the sky is blue. So
Yeah,
I mean, if it's Deadpool, you know what you're getting when you go into a Deadpool movie, don't you? At this point,
I will say this: there is one gag that comes back around again. I mean, it's not like the Mike Myers movies, like the Austin Powers, where like all the gags come back around
Right.
again, and still it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But this is especially one gag that comes back around again that I was like almost crying. It was so funny, and
Okay.
they really like let it sit. And yeah, and then Rick Marshall mentioned that there's some dissonance in that there's some emotional gravity that he didn't feel like fit in with the movie.
okay.
I didn't see that as much as he did because I just felt like the whole movie was more comedy and that the emotional gravity wasn't a lot more than the first one. It was just that it maybe felt a little bit out of place
Okay.
because of the vibe. But to me, that didn't matter. I just pretty much enjoyed the fun. You see them just twist everything. Like what you think is going to happen, they'll just make a twist on it. And again, like plot is sort of background, you know.
How was Josh Brolin?
Josh Brolin's good. I don't think, to me, his performance was not nearly as compelling as Thanos.
Okay.
I mean, of course, I've just seen that, so maybe that's why I'm comparing them. They're very different
Right.
characters. He's a little, he's a little bit one-dimensional in this.
Okay.
I think not a lot to the character that you can, get on screen, but he's fun, and he also gradually progresses to this thing where his traditional role in the comics of playing off Deadpool as being sort of the staunch, serious one definitely works. It definitely
Okay.
works here. Yeah.
And what about you had mentioned before that Domino really
Yeah,
good.
Domino is
the actress.
great. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember
she's
her name.
super fun, and that character you would think would be kind of silly in that she harnesses luck as her superpower, but they find really fun ways to use that in the movie. It was almost the point where I was like, I don't know if this is going to get tired, just luck being her thing.
Yeah.
But they found all these cool ways to use it, and she's a total badass in the movie as well.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right.
The X-Force thing is just really intriguing how they do it. It's very surprising how they do it, and it's awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I loved that, and just the little surprises that they use, I think, worked really well for me.
Well, I'm going to go see it this weekend. So Deadpool 2 out now. You can check it out. We still have lots to talk about, though.
Yes, we do.
We've got, like I said, Jordan Peele news, which is pretty exciting stuff. We've got some Guillermo del Toro news. We've got some casting news. And we're, of course, going to be talking about Bohemian Rhapsody here in a second. However, today, we finally got a trailer for something called The Happy Time Murders. Now, if you have not seen this, if you're watching our live show right now, we'll show you part of the trailer. We cannot show you all of the trailer. You'll need to watch it on your own because it is not safe for work. Towards, I guess. I mean, technically speaking, I don't know.
It's safe for my work because that's what I do.
It's safe for our work. I would just be careful if you're watching it.
Yeah.
And there's some language in it because what it is it is an R-rated movie from Jim Henson Studios. Yes, using Muppets, not the traditional Muppets that we know. I don't think you're going to get Kermit in this. But it revolves around essentially a former children's show in this world. It stars Melissa McCarthy, and there's a former children's show in the movie that a bunch of people get picked, a bunch of the puppets get murdered.
I guess so, yeah.
They're trying to solve the murders because it was the Happy Time.
I'm not sure from the trailer. I saw the trailer in the Deadpool premiere, the Deadpool 2 premiere, and people were just like, they were baffled. It was like, and they loved it, but everybody was just like, oh my God. I mean, and they're here to see a raunchy movie. Yeah. Remember. Yeah. This is really interesting. It's Brian Henson who directed such films as like A Muppet Christmas Carol. Yeah. He's really carried the torch, and I think carried it well since Jim Henson's untimely passing. But it's obvious he's really got a subversive side when it comes to comedy, and he's just going for it.
I've always wanted an R-rated.
It's pretty wild. And also, Melissa McCarthy's just
she's
freaking great. And she's really funny.
So basically, it's Phil Phillips, who's a puppet private eye and disgraced ex-cop, is on the trail of the serial killer who murdered his brother and is now targeting the cast members of the 1980s television series The Happy Time Gang. And so as they're going through, there's Elizabeth Banks is the puppet's former girlfriend, who's now a stripper or something like that. I mean, it just looks amazing.
Yeah, it's got a noir thing going, as my wife had pointed out. She kind of likens it to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but like sort of like a Muppet version.
That's a good. That is a good, very good comparison.
Yeah, she's good with comparisons. But the whole Muppet subversive thing is just they tried it with the Office thing. They tried it with the Muppets. It didn't quite work. I feel like this is going to be a big hit on the same level as sort of Sausage Party was. Okay. I think people were really waiting for something like that from Seth Rogen, and co. And I think this is going to hit that same sort of spot.
I am definitely excited for it. So The Happy Time Murders, it comes out on, I believe it's August 8th, I think is when it comes out. It's in August that this will be out. So not before too long. We'll get to check this thing out. All right, few other things to get to. We do have some surprising sequels that might be getting made. I actually really want one of them to happen, and one of them is happening. So we'll talk about those here in a few. Before we do, one of the trailers that we saw earlier this week is another thing we've been anticipating for a long time, which is for Bohemian Rhapsody, the biopic about Queen, Freddie Mercury in particular, and Rami Malek. We've seen some pictures of him playing Freddie Mercury. We finally get to see him in action.
He looks great.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He sounds like Freddie Mercury.
He really does.
I will say this, and Riley behind the scenes and I were trying to figure out, who's doing the singing. Most of the singing in the movie is actually Freddie Mercury.
Right.
But obviously everything else is him.
He does some singing, I think we've heard.
Maybe a little bit.
Like here and there, but yeah, I think they're using the original recordings.
But the mannerisms, the way of speaking, how he looks, how he's everything, it looks like Freddie Mercury. He looks and acts like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. And they did a killer job with the trailer with the Another One Bites the Dust in the background, sort of showing all the scenes as they build towards, this phenomenon that was Queen. So it's I'm really excited about it.
I am too. It looks great. I mean, I was thinking about it. It looks kind of like one of those, we've had some really good performances for musician biopics.
Yeah. This is
Joaquin Phoenix is Johnny Cash.
You got
I was
Ray.
Really suspect of that before it came out.
Yeah,
and he did a great job. Yeah, Jamie Foxx was Ray.
Obviously,
he got the Academy Award.
He got the award, I think. Yeah, he did.
And Val Kilmer, Jim Morrison going back.
This seems like it's going to be right in that area if it if it delivers on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
And the interesting thing about this too is that movie was troubled and in limbo for years. I think over a decade.
Well,
so
so
I think
originally
they
it
were
was
just
supposed to
kind of
be-
waiting for Rami Malek to be around. You know?
Because it was going to be Sacha Baron Cohen originally.
It was going to be a lot of people. He was just one of many. But
Yeah.
that was an interesting choice too. But I think Rami is a better choice.
Well, there we go. So that is what's going on with that one. So again, that's going to be coming out, I believe, October. It's actually October is when that's going to be out.
Day
October
before my
24th.
birthday.
Oh.
They must have known.
Oh,
Isn't that nice?
Neat? Yeah, that's neat. All right, something you can watch before that. And now we're getting into the Jordan Peele territory.
Yes.
And he is producing this one. Spike Lee's directing it. And it's actually from Jordan Peele's production company. And it's based on a true story. It's
Good
called
for him.
Black Klansman. And it's based on a true story of a Colorado Springs black police officer who went undercover and infiltrated a KKK chapter. And you're probably wondering how he did that. He did all of his talking over the phone and convincing these complete racists, including David Duke.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
Topher Grace is playing David Duke.
Okay.
Is in this thing.
Interesting.
And so somehow they tie into it. But it's based on this true story. So this guy infiltrated him, and then he would send in his partner, who also happened to be Jewish in real life, who is played by Adam Driver,
Right.
would go in and pretend to be him when they actually have to physically talk to somebody in person.
Weird.
This is a movie that's these kinds of things, these kind of historical like dramas that are based on something true like that, something that's almost unbelievable how
Yeah.
you pull this off.
Yeah.
And yet they did. I'm all about this. It sounds so great.
Great cast. Love Jordan Peele. Everything he's done so far. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It also got a standing ovation at Cannes.
really.
Yeah, from what we understand. So
Well, and John David Washington is starring in it. That's Denzel Washington's son.
Oh,
Who is-
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's also in Ballers. Ballers. I would discount that. He's still Denzel Washington's son. So he's got some acting chops in there somewhere.
well, once he gets a single name title, we'll
JDW or something. Yeah,
Denzel.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there it is.
Greatest actor of all damn time. All right, so
Wow.
the next thing. Well,
Okay.
no, that's a podcast.
Oh, I see.
It's it's Kamau Bell's podcast. Denzel Washington is the greatest actor of all damn time. Period. I think
I'd
that's
say
what it is.
that's a fair assessment. It could be argued, but it's fair.
Yeah. So something else with Jordan Peele, because he is also having a good year. This is an interesting one. So this is from his production studio. It's going to Amazon. It's going to be a series called The Hunt. And the series is going to follow a group of Nazi hunters tasked with tracking down war criminals in New York City during the late 1970s. So tracking down former Nazi soldiers in the 70s and what happened with that.
It's interesting. Like the whole that whole backstory is something we really haven't seen explored that much,
No.
and that stuff is fascinating.
Yeah.
So this is a great idea.
And I don't know how much, is based on like actual things, or
Right.
just because I mean that was happening. People
Yeah.
were hunting down Nazis, especially the Israeli like Mossad and all that
Mhm.
stuff. They were hunting them down all over the world.
Yeah, some of the biggest badasses in the world were doing this.
Yeah, hunting down the
Yep.
former Nazis. So it's going to be a 10-episode series. It looks like on coming to Amazon Studios. We don't have a date or anything. The story was created by David Whale, and Jordan Peele said once he read it, he's like, I have to make it.
Bam.
So that's
He knows
it.
writing.
Yeah, and I will trust Jordan Peele on that.
Absolutely.
So I'll be definitely excited to watch that.
Speaking of somebody I trust to produce cool TV shows.
Oh, there you go. That's a segue. Go ahead.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro is back in horror once again with an anthology series for Netflix. I think he's just producing it, but it's good to have his hand on the wheel, and
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see what he does here. He's the best creature creator of our times, as far as I'm concerned, so you're going to get some cool stuff on the screen, if nothing else.
Yeah, so 10 different, like you said, an anthology series, so kind of like a Black Mirror, only specifically horror.
And that's where horror does great in anthology. It's perfect for it.
It's going to reunite, with Shape of Water producer, J. Miles Dale. 10 chapters. I'm assuming they'll probably get another season after that.
Right.
And it's called 10 After Midnight. So
Exciting.
Del Toro.
Yeah, I'm excited for
coming
that.
to Netflix. So
Wow,
that's
I'm
cool.
like excited for everything right now.
I know it's weird.
Usually
I'm
I
used
don't
to
like
you
stuff.
discounting something.
I'm really
or
stoked.
What does Ryan hate?
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Going back to our original question here, just before we bounce on to a couple more things to talk about, and then we'll wrap up with some more Star Wars. Seeing a lot of people comment saying that they want Yoda and Boba Fett.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so Yoda, yes, a young Yoda movie needs to happen. And then
A young Yoda, yeah. God, so it's 700 years ago. That's a hell of a way ways to go back.
Well, you can reinvent a whole bunch of new characters.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You know,
no, it's
and
just it
old
would be
Jedi
very
characters.
interesting. Yeah.
You could bring in old Jedi lore.
I mean,
stuff like
for
that.
all we know, Ryan Johnson's trilogy is set
Yeah.
in that galaxy or that time period. We don't know.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
All right, we got some sequel news we need to discuss. So, It 2, obviously we know that's coming out, and we have some more casting news. As they're slowly filling out the cast of the Losers Club for the older kids, the adult versions of the
Right.
kids. We have, James McAvoy. It looks like he is going to be one of them. We've got Richie Tozier. There's a bunch of different people who are, or I'm sorry, Richie Tozier is not the one. And I'm trying to get it straight because there's so many of them, and I know I'm the one who picked this story to talk about too, so I should know.
I'm excited about McAvoy being in it, though.
McAvoy, yeah. There's a Jessica Chastain is going to be playing Beverly Marsh. So it's a really good cast of characters that they have coming in for this. We'll see how it all works out. But I am excited for the second one. They'll also still have the child actors will still be in there, it sounds like,
right.
in flashbacks.
They'll be doing flashbacks, yeah.
Doing flashbacks of before. So casting news for that. Here's a sequel I did not think we would ever see, or didn't really necessarily ask for, but I'll watch it. Zombieland 2. Zombieland is coming back for the 10th anniversary of the film. So it came out in 2009.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's crazy. So they are going to be releasing in October of 2019. Zombieland 2 is at least what the plan is when they're going to release it. I guess the original co-writers, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who also wrote Deadpool 2.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So they're the ones who wrote Deadpool 2. They're doing Zombieland 2, and they were the original writers on Zombieland.
I really enjoyed Zombieland. I know it wasn't
I liked
like
it.
a massive hit or anything, but
No, it was fun.
It was a fun take on it.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
vicariously living in that, the apocalypse, but
Yeah.
with some comedy involved.
Right. I mean, it was fun. So I guess they're bringing the whole
It's
cast
a good
back.
afternoon movie to watch.
That's still alive.
Lazy Sunday.
Spoilers, it's a zombie movie. People die. But
Yeah.
they're bringing pretty much everybody back. And, so Zombieland 2. It'll be interesting how they do that.
I'll watch it.
Real quick, though, just a quick break. Courtney's asking, is Ryan feeling okay? I've never seen him like so many things. So just, let's just make sure.
Hey, man, they write good stuff.
I
I'll
guess
enjoy it.
Our new earlier time, Ryan's apparently
That's true.
the grumpy
It's
hour
earlier
happens
in the
about
day.
1:30.
Yeah, that
so
is true.
We're cutting it off here a little bit early.
You're going to see me at my optimistic best.
Which, again, if you're listening to the podcast, we now go live at noon Pacific time.
And that means
At least
you can
for a little
always
while longer
get
here.
our downloaded podcast for your drive home, in case you don't catch us live.
There you go. All right, another sequel we might be getting to see, and then we'll wrap back up with some Star Wars news. Just a couple other things in the Star Wars news. Willow was one of my favorite movies.
It is such a... It was such a cult hit. I mean, it was so big when I was a kid.
Willow
We
with
loved this movie.
George Lucas and Ron Howard directing in a magical world where there's two different, the Dakinis, and I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's really like...
It's hard to explain.
It's unlike pretty much anything else that was around at the time. I can't really think of
There's
anything
wizards,
else that's like
there's
it.
warriors, there's all of the above, and castles, and a quest, and fairies, all kinds of things. Well, anyway, and then, of course, starring Warwick Davis as Willow.
Right.
And Val Kilmer as Mad Monaghan. Mad Monaghan, you are great. All right, anyway.
You are
great. Peck. All right. Now they're talking. Ron Howard has said he would like to revisit Willow, make Willow 2, although he wouldn't. He said it wouldn't necessarily be called Willow 2.
Right. He wants to work with Warwick Davis again.
Wants to work with Warwick Davis again.
Who he got to do with Solo. He got to work with him on Solo, yeah.
And the idea with this one would focus on, if you've seen the movie, the child, the baby in it.
Right, okay.
Laura Dannon.
Right.
And then it would be focusing on the child as an adult.
I'm getting all these little nuggets of nostalgia popping up and realizing I really need to watch this movie again.
I know. Once I saw this, I'm like,
yeah,
I
just
need to see it.
seeing the trailer, I was like, oh yeah, the
I
witch.
need to revisit it.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so
it's a really great role for Val Kilmer for those who haven't seen it as well.
I would be really excited to watch that.
It's great.
So that is Willow, a Willow sequel, possibly in the works. Ron Howard saying he wants to do it, and Ron Howard, if he says it, it could very well happen.
And the Ryan optimism continues.
And the Ryan optimism continues. This is weird. All right, we'll bounce that for next week. Let's go. One thing you can watch right now, if you is out right now, 13 Reasons Why, Season 2, in case you weren't depressed after the first one.
Yes.
Time to watch the second one. All about suicide. So the first one actually is, the first season is really well done.
It was controversial, but then it also got praised for being able to tackle such a difficult subject and bringing it out in the open.
Yeah, and it makes me very happy I'm not growing up as a teenager right now.
I could agree with that.
Teenagers out there, damn, yeah.
It's tough all over.
It was tough when I was a kid, but man, not like... Ooh. So anyway, the season 2 is out. It's getting mixed reviews as far as how
Kind of like the first
it.
one, I suppose.
This one's getting a little bit less.
I see.
Yeah, a little lower on what people like about it. I will definitely check it out. I don't know if I'll finish it. I'll give it a shot. But if you were a fan of the first one, then it is out. And, there are some very important things in the first season that I think are worthwhile. But we will see. That is out on Netflix, though, so it's our job to let you know what's going on.
Also, just to repeat, the Cobra Kai mania has settled a bit. But if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend checking out at least the first 2 episodes, which are free right now on YouTube.
I still need to do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it. I just want to remind people it's out there. You gotta do it.
All right, so Cobra Kai, you can check that out on YouTube. And wrapping back up with our first topic today with our question, and we'll just kind of grab a couple more comments here from the live chat of which standalone Star Wars movie would you like to see next? Lando, which is rumored to be a possibility, Obi-Wan, which is rumored to be a possibility, and then all the other ones. So far, it seems like everybody wants, in our live chat right here,
it's Yoda time.
They want Yoda.
All right.
Yoda, Vader, standalone. I feel like we got 3 of those already, but maybe more Vader.
I would love to get more Vader. Like that homeworld that they showed with all the lava. That was awesome.
Maybe Vader when he's just
it's not technically his homeworld.
An R-rated Vader movie where he's just a complete psychopath.
Oh, man, I don't think Disney will do that.
No.
But I would. That would be amazing.
That would be.
Vader Unhinged.
Yeah.
They could just call it that.
And James also asked, are Ewoks dwarf Wookiees? I don't think so. But they are. The 2 planets are right next to each other.
Well, there's a
Endor's the moon.
I don't want to get... I don't want to get yelled at by the super nerds, but
well, you are the super nerd.
Eventually, I'm not that super nerd.
Actually,
I believe originally Wookiees and Ewoks were the same thing, and they ended up splitting off into 2 different kinds of creatures. So I think even in the original the mock-ups for Star Wars, the Ewoks were supposed to be Wookiees. I'm absolutely sure someone will correct me on
Endor
the exactitude of this.
is the moon of Kashyyyk, which is the Wookiees' home planet.
Okay, so there you go.
The moon. So
well, all I know is originally Ewoks and Wookiees were at some point the same thing.
Originally,
actually.
Back to genealogy.
Well, that's a very interesting question.
For the DNA analysis of the Ewok, you would find.
But yeah, I'm not sure how it broke off to Ewoks. I'm not sure how that Ewok movie ever got greenlit. But there's a lot of questions about the Ewoks.
There it is. We found something he didn't like. Bringing it all together.
No one likes that.
All right. Well, that is what we have for this week. And again, this is Between the Streams. We do this show live every week at noon Pacific time. And we really appreciate everybody tuning in. But the most important thing you can do right now is subscribe to the podcast. Make sure wherever you're getting this, hit that subscribe button. We'll have the podcast out early so you can make sure and get caught up on everything for the coming. Get caught up on what happened during the week and kind of look forward to what's coming out during the next week.
Take it on your commute. We'll tell you all the things you need to see.
Yep. And if
you right up to date.
Disagree with us or have some issues with anything that we say or have some ideas about some of the stuff we brought up, send us an email, podcast@digitaltrends.com. We will get those, and if it's a complaint, I'll forward it right to Ryan.
Yep.
If it's a compliment,
I'll
read it myself. And we'll go with that way. So, let's go ahead and send us that podcast@digitaltrends.com. And thanks so much for tuning in. I think that's about it for right now. Go see Deadpool 2.
Definitely.
Go see Deadpool 2.
If you want to laugh, go for it.
If you want to laugh, go see Deadpool 2.
Absolutely.
I will definitely go see it. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode.